So we potted up one more of the Matchstick bromeliads, and I used a mix of perlite, peat moss, and bark, pine bark. Just kind of to save on some of the perlite because it's so expensive, and peat moss is expensive, but I had a bunch already. So it's not quite a sterile soil. It does have the organic, pine bark in it, but pine bark and perlite, I guess, helps aerate the soil, makes it not waterlogged and stuff. So bromeliads really don't need, water and stuff in the roots. They just kind of grow roots to, anchor themselves, into the ground or into a tree. But they just use their little cups here to collect the water. And I guess, I don't know how they actually get fertilizer in the wild. If like the wild pineapple penguin bromeliad actually has an acidic cup that traps mosquitoes and stuff in it, and it dissolves mosquitoes. So, like, at least from what I've read, penguin bromeliads are actually a carnivorous bromeliad. Kind of surprising. Just to make sure you're on the same page as I am, this is a penguin bromeliad here that I haven't planted yet. I'm taking in and out of water just to keep the roots moist, but put it in the water for a couple days, take it out for a couple days until I can figure out what I'm going to do with it. Some really small matchstick bromeliads in there. That one should be okay. This one, I'm not sure if I got enough root material or what, but we'll see. We got it in full shade here. There's been a lot of rain, so we won't even have to water it in or anything like that. So we got the first bromeliads fixing to bloom here, or is blooming, fixing to flower. I put a third one up there. So we got 3, I think, matchstick bromeliads here. That one has like 2 pups growing on it. Not sure if this one has a pup on it or not. That's a Queen's Tears bromeliad. Let's see, there's another Queen's Tears right there. When it starts resprouting, it'll probably look a lot of new growth on this Lila avocado. So I think I'm not going to put any more fertilizer on it, not for the June, fertilizer thing, because I really don't want it to push out new growth after like July or so, if I can help it. So just going to be watering from here on out. But it looks so much bigger, since it's grown 2 or 3. That's about 4 inches right there, probably 5 there, 5, 6, 7. So it's getting big. Still dropping avocados like crazy, but there's the biggest one so far. There's a single Brazos bell right there, but as small as this tree is, it probably will drop it before it gets ripened. I've yet to plant this Snow Queen or whatever this gardenia is. Shame on us. We had 2 really heavy rains in 2 days, and we were in a flood advisory for at least 2 days. We could still be in one, I'm not sure. The first pumpkin we put up there just done growing another foot or so. So every day this guy, with all this water, and once it got its roots, kind of happy where it was planted, it just got bigger and bigger. But I want to show you the ostrich ferns so far. Yee, we got like kind of full leaves on this one now. These guys supposed to get like 6 foot, and they're edible fiddlehead fern. Kind of and we're in wetlands on one where all these elderberry patches are. The first, elderberries didn't get a whole lot of pollination because as these were originally blooming, the other ones weren't blooming, but we still have, like, look at here, there's more pollination on that one. That one we still got flowers that are fixing to come out. So, the second or third batch of berries is probably going to be pretty full. And all these are hybrids. One of the difference in this particular patch is you see there's no like red or purple on the stem as the berries kind of get ripened. Not super big berries, kind of average. I'm going to look at one of the wild seedling elderberries, and this is the most vigorous like wild seedling that we have, possibly that I've ever seen. I didn't really take notice of it until I wanted to do some like green manure chop and drop here. And in general, when I've been chopping and dropping the elderberry plants, like in wetlands on one and various areas. I take, I chop and drop green material that doesn't have bloom heads on it or anything like that. But I tried to find, I'm looking at every little stem pretty much, and all of them at the same time have freaking blooms. This is like the most vigorous. The smell of the flowers aren't impressive at all. They're like a 1, maybe a 2 at a good day and a good time. The berry size isn't really, it's just like a wild Florida, elderberry. Take a look at the berry size. Most of these loose ones here are from that one we just took in Wetland Zone 1. And the berry size from this Florida seedling is on the stems. They're almost the same, but I want to say this Florida seedling has just a slightly bigger berry. The flower head size, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but it's not really anything fantastic, but the amount of seedlings, flower heads, berries, I should say, not seedlings. The amount of berries and flower heads on a single tree. This is like double or triple what you see on most freaking elderberries. It's still blooming. It's got black ones that are already ripe. It's got green ones in various stages, and it's still got blooms. Like here's a bloom that hasn't even opened up yet, right there. When you hybridize these guys with improved cultivars, like the one from Wetlands I just showed you guys, you usually get some kind of trait from the improved cultivar. It may be the smell of the flower. As you can see, there's like little or no purple tinge on this. There usually is a purple tinge on the hybrids. There wasn't one on the Wetlands Zone 1, but like I said, the fragrance is usually better. Something is usually better. Bigger flower heads, bigger berries, slightly bigger berries. But, it's not guaranteed. They're not true to type. Every seedling is going to be different. Some of them are going to be basically the quality of most Florida native elderberries. Some of them are going to have just a slightly, better quality or, improvement. Like I said, flower head size, which means more berries, possibly larger berries. And the smell can be from a 1 or 2, maybe a 3 on, the Florida natives, to like a 9 on some of the improved cultivars like Adams and the 2015 best. You search like a Google for elderberries, you usually see the red and purple stems associated with the berries. Here in Florida, at least north central Florida, you just, sometimes you run across a seedling or, a wild one that has it. This guy here should be, I want to say it should be a seedling that's been here. It does, I probably can't show it to you because it's like 15 foot in air, but it has some purple stems. When the berries get about half the size, green still, it'll start turning that red and purple color. But most of the wild ones seem to stay pretty green, maybe with just a slight tinge of purple or red on them, but they don't turn like completely purple. But maybe something with the genetics of the, so many of these are like bred and are found in, northern states and stuff. So something that has evolved to be more common in northern states could be that purple or red tinge to them. So that is a good indicator that, if you have multiple elderberries around and you got birds eating them, pooping out the seeds and planting them, that, it could be, a hybrid from your Adams or Johns or whatever. But, smell and, flower head size. I mean, this isn't an impressive flower head. This is 2015, best. But on the same tree up there, we've had about 14-inch seed heads this year. In 2015, we had about 16 to 18 inches. You'll have 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch seed heads on the same tree, same shrub, whatever you want to call it. Up there, let me see if I can zoom in. I'm in the sunlight, so right there was about a 14-inch seed head. But you'll have all sizes. Just because there's a max size that you've seen doesn't mean they're all going to be that big. When they're lower here in the more shady areas, maybe they don't get as big, but when they're more upright, you know, in the sun, you know, the limbs and branches that are in the sun, just like, you know, a lot of fruiting plants, whatever hits the sun is the first maybe to bloom, the first to fruit, and it might have bigger fruit, just like the mulberries. This is, you know, our dwarf everbearing mulberry with other stuff growing here that we collected for like a month or more, mulberries from. The ones that hit the sun were bigger, more plumper, you know, juicier, everything. You see, these berries are probably only a third ripe, but see that purple tinging on the stems? You don't quite see it here with the ones that still have some flowers on them. It's more like green. Flowers is green, you know. That purple tinging comes with time. And if I had one low enough that I could show you that's like completely purple, I would show you, but I'd probably have to search for a while and pull down branches. I'm sure this video is getting to be a little long, so we're going to go ahead and end this vlog here.